So I am down here in outskirts of Las Vegas, in Henderson, Nevada, visiting some longtime friends, or actually friends of my parents that my husband and I have gotten to know over the years, and they just have a really wonderful place to visit and get away from the kids. And with an awesome pool in the backyard, and of course the Vegas Strip just like 15 minutes down the way. Went and saw Cirque du Soleil the other night. Wow, those folks are incredible. You have to take out a home loan to go there, but it's definitely something to see for sure. But the whole point of this video is to tell you that I'm at my 90-day mark today from when I left to go to the Alabama field training. 90 days. Today is May 6th, and we had training in February 6th. That was the last day of training. So 90 days. This is my 91st video. It seems like just yesterday, and it seems like I have been on this journey for forever. So here's the update. Had 0 properties starting. New jack about nothing in regards to tax deeds 90 days ago. Most specifically, new jack about Alabama tax deeds. And so anyway, today I have 6 properties. I bought 7. 1 got redeemed before my money made it to the county. So I have 6 deeds. 3 have come back, recorded. So I have initiated the request of the attorney to post the notice to vacate on 2. The 3rd one, we're about to get that request sent off to the attorney. Oh man. Okay. So my overall thoughts on this whole process. In 90 days, I did not think that I would have 6 properties, even though my goal was 22. In 2022, and I started in February, which essentially means I would need to do 2 over the next 11 months, February through December, which would get me to the 22. So I am right on track. Like I said, it's just the 6th of May. So, and I haven't made any purchases in May yet. The end of April was my last purchase, so I still have the lion's share of May to take and find some properties. But I'm being very selective. Wow, it must be trash day today. That's wonderful, wonderful views of all that. Good thing this video isn't scratch and sniff. Yeah, you're welcome for that. Back to it. So, I have been selective. Yes, for the sake of my goal, I could have just bought every single random piece of trash out there that I came across, but I did my due diligence. I got them all approved by my coach, Jeremy. I went back and forth. There's still some this week where it's like, oh, I need to get another one before my video. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm not compromising my standards just for the sake of hitting a goal. Because ultimately that doesn't get me to my ultimate goal in the end. So, move along, truck. There you go. Nothing to see here. I'm taking it slow, but I'm taking it steady, and I'm also being proactive, and I am taking calculated risks. I'm not getting stuck in the paralysis of analysis. When it hits my criteria and I get the good to go from my coach, I pull the trigger. During my coaching sessions, I've done the 10. So this is the review here of my 90 days. My 10 sessions are done. My 2 full day one-on-one sessions are done. And in the moment, especially when you're wired like I am for loving learning, you just have the high of going from learning to learning to learning to learning, and the implementation, it just seems like no one got time for that. No one got time for that implementation. We just need to keep learning. Just give me another module. And I find myself in that trap all the time, and I have to really check myself. Because learning for the sake of learning doesn't really move the needle unless you put it into action. That's where the real learning comes. Like there's cognitive, and then there's just like a deeper learning, which is that knowing, that experiential. And so when I was doing these coaching sessions and hearing them for the first time just on the computer, in the moment, during the coaching session, and then I would do my feedback, it seemed like I wasn't getting very much info. Oh, here comes our truck buddy. Hello. Oh man, characters. They're everywhere, you just can't escape them. Maybe I'm the character. Maybe I am the character. Sometimes you have to stop and say, you know what? I seem to be the common denominator around here, so maybe the crazy person's me. Anyway, back to the coaching. So in the moment, it seems that the coaching is going slow and it's not covering, and there's just holes and there's more to learn. But the learning really comes in the just-in-time learning. There just can't possibly be enough coaching that just shares every single scenario and every single step. You can give like that skeleton, but the meat really comes by the doing. Everyone is going to have a different journey in this. They're going to learn different things in different timing. So I might have a breeze with my first 6 properties, or they might be the most difficult properties that I ever come across, and I might have a breeze in the next 6, meaning 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And so there's just no way to really put all of that into training. And so the ones that say, oh, the training was bad, well, most generally it's the ones that actually didn't do any of the do. And the just-in-time learning also comes where you have that coaching support afterwards. And I have found, because my coaching sessions, they ended a while ago, and a month ago, and I have been consistently going back to Jeremy, even though I'm not technically, a active student anymore. I keep coming back to him and sending him emails and asking him questions. Hey, do you invest in condos? Like this one? And he writes back and he's like, no, that's where all the drug dealers live. And it's like, oh, that is really great to know. And that's not something you would know unless you had intel on the ground. But he responds back to me sometimes within 5 minutes, usually by the end of the day, and much sooner than that. I mean, there was a time where something got stacked and he's like, I'm so sorry this got buried, and he took that personal responsibility, saying why it was late in response. But he didn't even have to. Like, a lot of these programs, like, your coaching is done and that's it. And Jeremy continues to say, hey, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I'll be here And I do feel like they are going to match the effort I put in. I put in 100%, 110%, and they're going to match me on that. And that is where the proof is in the pudding, per se, when it comes to the quality of these types of mentorships, is what happens when their obligation runs out. What happens when you have that question? Because you're going to, like, 10 sessions get you to the point where you, it stops right when your deeds come back. And the real process starts. Well, how does that work if you don't have some kind of continuity? And so I'm really impressed so far. I'm on step 3, really. Small baby steps. It's taken a while. This is not a get rich quick, like, in any stretch. And they don't even advertise it as such, but people like my sweet friend, that's actually who I'm visiting, my sweet friend, who says, well, yeah, but what kind of cash flow have you got? It's like, dude, like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is this business. Nothing worth anything, especially nothing that's going to have long-term sustainability, is going to be built and cash flowing within a day or two. You know, it's like, give it time. You know, most traditional businesses, it takes 5 years just to break even. And then maybe 5 years later, you know, it's able to sustain itself without capital contributions. I don't know the stats. Don't hold me to that. Don't leave a message correcting me, or don't leave a comment correcting me. I'm just proving a generalized point here. It takes time. And anyone in business with a business that is legitimate, that has some substantiality to it, knows that. So back to the review. If you believe that you are in it for the long haul, if you believe that you can be proactive on your own with a little bit of hand-holding and guidance, if you believe that you can pull the trigger, oh, these guys, that's nice. They're doing some yard work or whatnot. 2 old goats. That's awesome. You know what? Remember Happy Gilmore. So it is true that old people can serve a purpose in society. Yes, they can. I love my elders. Back to it. If you believe that you can be in a long term, if you believe you can pull the trigger, if you believe you can dedicate that hour or 2 a day, if you believe that you can be consistent, if you believe that you can build a business that has the ability to produce ATM type cash. That's the whole point. The cash flows. I want to build some ATMs, folks, and that's pretty much what you do when you have rental properties. And I believe that this is possible. It's going to take time. It's going to take capital. So each property that I've purchased, on average, without even looking at my numbers, I'm saying it's in like the $11,000 range is what it takes. And that's just the acquisition. And then you have the annual taxes, which are about $500. And then you have, you know, your property insurance, $40 a month. You have your property management company, that's 10% of rents. And then you have a rehab cost of maximum of $25 a square foot. You're right around that $20,000, $25,000 range. Plus your 10 to 15 acquisition, you're looking at $40,000 each property. You need some cash for this business too. Like, if you think you're going to start out and you're going to build a substantial business with, you know, 22 properties, like that's my goal, and you're going to do that, you know, when you got 20 grand to only, and like that is your rent money. Like that's not realistic. And if you think you're going to quit your job right now, like that's not realistic unless you have the cash, like the critical mass cash to be investing, 40 grand, so 15 in acquisition, 25 in rehab. If you don't have that critical mass, you need to have a steady inflow of money. You need to have an inflow of money so that, wow, look at that funny little bird right there. I don't know if you can see him. He had this kind of like mohawk. It was cute. A little bit of a bedhead this morning, but we'll give him some grace. Probably doesn't have a comb. Anyway, you have to be realistic on the amount of money you have to invest, and you can't think you're going to have 22 properties in 6 months if you only have 2 grand to work with. And that needs to be really taken into consideration. And so you need to keep your job if you don't have that critical mass, because you need that money coming in, of course, to keep you afloat, but also to be feeding your pot, your investment pot that you can draw from. So that's super important. So I've come to the conclusion that I need a way other than telling my husband he needs to take more jobs. He is a professional handyman, and he gets to set his schedule and essentially, create income like out of thin air by just, I don't know, call your list of peeps. He has all these retired ladies, either widowed or divorced or whatever, and I call them his girlfriends. And he takes care of them and changes light bulbs, smoke detector batteries, all that jazz. The thing is with that kind of business, literally just fish out of your own pond. Like, just call people and say, hey, just thinking about ya. I'm going to be in your area, which is true because all of his clients are 5 minutes from our home. I'm going to be in your area, thought about you. Is there anything that you need? And it's amazing how you can schedule and fill up that schedule. But that is, you got to have some kind of income source that's generating the capital so that you have the critical mass to invest. Because you can't have just 2 properties and think you're going to be, set as far as independently wealthy and self-sufficient. Like passive income, you need quite a bit of properties, because if one becomes vacant and is turning over, you have to rehab it or whatever. If you only have 2 properties and one of them is vacant, like your half of your income each month is gone. But if you have 10 properties in one, then you only have 10%, and so on and so on. And so the more properties you have, the less impact it is on your income when you do have turnover and vacancies. So it is important, I would say, to either keep your job or find a way to be able to create some ongoing cash that can pour into your investment pool. Man, it is hot. Like, I thought I was sweating my everythings off in Colorado, but it is hot here. And sorry, I'm breathing heavy too. I am just on a walk. Anyway, so that's what I got. Super impressed. Cap summary here. Super impressed so far. I'm gonna keep working. It's gonna stretch me. I'm gonna master the certain step, and then I'm gonna get to the next step. It's gonna stretch me, and I'm gonna feel uncomfortable just like I did in the first 3, and then I'm gonna master that, and then I'm gonna go to the next step, and it's gonna stretch me, and this is gonna be the pattern. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'm gonna keep updating you. I'm not sure how frequently. I don't even know if anyone's watching or even anyone cares. But just for my own self, I'm going to continue to document on just a interval of I'm not sure. So that's what I got. It was great having you come along. Probably one of the next videos is me telling you when I get some cash flow. Everyone wants to know, when's the cash coming? So when the cash cow comes, I will make a video so that we can timestamp it, date stamp it, and we know how many days out. You know how many days out, and I'm committed to that video for you. So thanks, and yeah, that's all I got. Stay classy.